which paradigm? This is very much important point. See, what is the meaning of this paradigm? Paradigm is nothing but a strategy or approach used while development. Okay, for example, suppose we want to calculate area of a circle. What are the steps here? Here steps are like this. First, accept radius from user. Second instruction will be like this, just calculate area and display area. Okay, now this means here we are focusing on functionality or what are the steps to be done. Now consider one more example. Suppose I want to check whether given number is even or odd. Okay, tell me what is even? Even is nothing but what? Even means if a number is divisible by 2, then we can say that number is even, otherwise it is odd number. Now how to check whether given number is divisible by 2 or not? We know that if we divide any number by 2, if remainder is 0, then we can say that that number is divisible by 2. If remainder is not 0, then we can definitely say that the number is odd number. Okay, you know this. Now, means what are the steps now? This is the logic for checking whether given number is even or odd. Now, I want to develop a program or I want to write a program. I want to give instructions to the computer that see, hey computer, accept a number from user and check whether it is even or odd. Okay, but for that what should be done? We have to write any program. Without program, without software, computer is of no use. Computer will not do anything. Okay, for that we have to write program, then that program will be executed by the computer. Now while writing program, we have to write, what is the program? It is nothing but a set of instructions. We have to write multiple instructions sequentially. Now what are the instructions here? See, the first instruction is like this. We have to first accept a number from user. Then only we can check whether that number is even or odd. That means first instruction will be input instruction, like accept a number from user. Just say it as a n. Now what is the next step? Check whether that number modulus 2 is equal to 0. Why? What I am checking here, that check whether that number is divisible by 2 or not. If yes, then what should be displayed? If yes, then we display it is even number. Otherwise, display it is odd number. In this way, we have to do. We have to think. This is the thinking process. Means before writing program, we have to think what are the steps to achieve this. What are the steps to solve this problem using computer system? To solve any problem using computer system, we are writing a program. Means what are the steps to write program for this, for any problem. Okay, means here again we are thinking like what are the steps to do this. Okay, now next one more example is I want to check whether given number is positive or negative. Here again one more point. Given number means here we have to accept only one number first. Then if number is less than 0 means we can definitely say that it is a negative number. If it is greater than 0, that means it is positive number. This is just a logic. Now here we will think like this. See, accept a number from user. Then next step will be check whether it is less than 0. If it is less than 0, then display negative. Otherwise, display positive and stop. These are the steps to be done for checking whether given number is positive or negative. Means in all these examples, how we are thinking? We are just thinking what is the functionality or what are the steps to be done, what are the steps to be executed to do this task. Here this approach is nothing but a procedure oriented approach. This one is first, that is procedure oriented language paradigm. Now one more point comes under this, that is suppose the functionality is too much big. For example, I want to write program for doing calculator task. Okay, see, calculator is having too many functionalities inside it. First one is addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Next one may be like modulus, next one may be square root, next one may be square, cube. In this way multiple functionalities are there inside this calculator. Now suppose I'm writing all the steps one by one, all steps for addition first, then subtraction, then it will be too big. If the problem is too large, then main functionality will be subdivided into different sub functionalities. Means here consider one function, that is main function, that is main functionality is subdivided into different functions. Say it is function 1, then function 2, then function 3, and so on. Getting? Means here main function is subdivided into different functions. Means if main function is too big, too large, then we have to divide. We can divide that main function into different sub functions. Okay, that is inside again procedure oriented languages. Now what is this procedure oriented language paradigm exactly? Here first thing is focus is on procedure. Procedure is nothing but a functionality. Okay, now the second thing is what? Here only thinking is like this. Only we think like what is the procedure to do this task, to achieve this. Okay, only we think like this. That is nothing but procedure oriented. And one more point inside that is, if the main functionality or the functionality is too much big, too much large, then we can divide that functionality into different sub functions. These are the points under this procedure oriented language. Okay, now C follows all these features, and C is having this type of approach. That's why C is called as a procedure oriented language. And now C is the best example of this procedure oriented language paradigm. Now next paradigm under this one is object oriented language paradigm. There are too many other paradigms also, but for C and C++, only if you know this procedure and object, then it is enough. Okay, now that's why I am explaining only these 2 points here. Procedure oriented we have already explained, and now the next point is object oriented language paradigm. Actually the best example of this object oriented language is C++. Again Java is also object oriented language. Python follows both approaches, procedure as well as object oriented. Now what is exactly this approach, object oriented language paradigm? What is exactly strategy used inside this? Consider, to display area of a circle we have to write program. Now but I am thinking in this way. Suppose now I will think like this. What is the object here? C. For calculation of area of a circle, means here the main object is a circle object. Okay, now the main object is a circle object. Now what are the attributes or characteristics of this circle object? Means what it has? It is having, first one is radius and next one is area. Okay, now this is actually called as a data about this object. Okay, and now one more point is there. What is the functionality around this object? What is the functionality we can do with this object? That is, first one is we can accept radius, and second one is accept radius, and second one is display, means calculate and display area. This is the second functionality. Means what? This whole is a circle object. Okay, and circle object is having this data, means radius and area, means it is having these 2 features or characteristics, and it will have functionality like accept radius and display area. In this approach, means object oriented languages or object oriented paradigm, we think like what is the object here and what are the attributes or what are the characteristics of that object, and what is the functionality possible around that object or with that object. That is the thinking. Means for the same problem, for calculation of area of a circle, we will think in this way. This approach is called as a object oriented language paradigm or object oriented approach. Means here focus is on object. Focus is on object. Actually object is what? Object is nothing but any runtime entity. It may be physical or logical. Means this marker can be object. I am an object of like a teacher type or any person object, or your object of student type. Okay, then this book is a object, this board is object. You can say any bank account may be object. Okay, means anything can be considered as a object, which is having features around it and functionality we can do with that object. Okay, means if we are thinking like that, then that approach comes under this, means that approach can be implemented with the help of C++ or Java or Python. That's why those languages comes under this category. And whatever this approach, like focus is on functionality and only we think like what are the steps to be done. In this way, suppose and main problem is subdivided into different subtasks, that is possible. This approach can be implemented using C language. That's why C is the example of procedure oriented language and C++ is the example of object oriented language.